your thoughts on the initial impressions on Lindenwood, watching them on film.
We watched a lot of them. Skate well, they got some big, strong guys that play physical, kind of hard brand of hockey. Just their power play's been good. They move that puck around pretty well and shoot the puck well there. So, yeah, you got to be impressed with what they've done in their first year. Their record may not look stellar, but some of the results they've got against really good programs are show that they can compete with anybody because they just play that strong, hard, kind of grinding style, and then they're good in the power play. So they play 60 minutes. There's no easy nights. There's no easy times. Doesn't look like they're just they make you kind of earn everything you get.
You've had 4 goal games at Mariucci and at Yost and at Magnus. Is that a good challenge for your team where that was an issue in the first half until Kalamazoo?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we mainly think it's kind of our mindset and kind of how we're playing. We know things that make us successful. We know how we have to track and hold lines and advance pucks and manage the puck well. If we do those things, then I think we can be pretty hard to play against when we do that. Obviously, I thought there was times against USA good chunks of time that we did it well, but even just a few quick turnovers that when teams transition well, they can stick it to you. So I think it's our challenge is just playing that 60-minute game. Really have a real solid base of good hard hockey foundation of managing the puck and going north with it. And when we did that, we thought our ozone cycle play was real good against USA. We created some really good chances, had some good lateral pucks and some really good looks off that. We got to the net well. So if we can build on that, we're excited for the challenge.
How do you guys manage or decide whether Jackson Blake's going to be able to play coming off a tournament like that? And I think you guys went through this with Tyson Jones.
Yeah.
He came back late. What goes into that decision for you guys?
Yeah, I think number one, talking to the player. Most guys are fired up to get back and play, even though they've been through a gauntlet. But it depends. I guess you got to kind of see how the travel lines up. I know Pat Swanson was just talking to the USA people about the flight options. Obviously, it's a pretty long haul, so a lot better than coming back from Europe, we'll say that. But, so we'll talk to Jackson and see how it goes. We know we got a lot of healthy bodies. We got guys ready to go here, so it might be one of those where if he's got some nicks and bruises and maybe some stuff we're not sure about yet, and it's been a super long travel day, I think we'd maybe err to go on some healthy, fresh guys. But if he's feeling really good and his body's healthy, then I think that would be a consideration to put him in.
Now you didn't have the option of a 19th skater back when Tyson went. Is that something that plays into it too, potentially?
Yeah, I think that's a good call. You could always throw Blaker out on the power play situations or something like that. He's always a pretty good guy to add to Carl's PP. So, yeah, I think that would definitely be something that you probably think about.
How would you maybe compare this week of practice compared to this time last year, coming off an exhibition win, compared to what happened last year? Just what the mentality is like for the guys and stuff, and
yeah,
avoiding what happened following that.
Yeah. I think I'd actually say it's been a real good week, and I think one thing we talked about with just Brad being gone is he's such a good man and we all respect him and care for him so much. I think that was one of our things is just we just said, hey boys, let's be prepared and be sharp for when Coach Barry gets back. So I think that was kind of a motivating force for the guys, and just said, hey, we want to make sure we're approaching practice in a real business-like way, which we always try to. So I think that's been a bit of a factor for the guys being real sharp and ready to go this week.
Because I'm sure the team, obviously, we've talked to that, just your perspective of last year losing that exhibition, what followed after that. It's got to be good to kind of be out on a right foot.
Yeah, you feel positive about some things. We always show some video of things that we did well and that we really liked. So. But again, sometimes after a loss, you get the boys' attention as well. So, but it's positivity-wise, I think boys are in a good spot. We're kind of starting. I think we're starting to really know how we have to play, and we're gaining a little bit of continuity in kind of our lines, and some guys kind of stepping into their roles and understanding what's expected of them. So, that to me has been kind of a nice thing that we're so many times early in the season, it seemed like we were shuffling lines and kind of trying to figure things out, where we're starting to see some guys play well together and have some form a bit of a identity on their D pair or their line.
How are you personally just kind of doing this week, taking it a little bit more maybe?
Yeah, well, it's been a good challenge for me, good kind of being a little bit of a different role. Enjoyed it, obviously. terrible circumstances, but it's just between Carl and myself. Alms has been around a lot, so we all know what's to be expected. We know the culture, we know the level of expectations and standards, so we just keep, we pass it all the way back from Gino. We learn from him, and I think all the guys that have come before and all the great assistant coaches we've had, I think just kind of the culture and the expectations of high-level accountability and competitiveness, those things are just something that's kind of ingrained into our culture here, I think, and something that we always want to bring. We know if we have those things in our game with the type of guys that we have in that room, we think over time it's going to come our way.
You talked about learning from Gino. You guys are facing another coach that probably learned a lot from
Yeah,
Gino too.
yeah.
Do you see any North Dakota elements in Lindenwood's game just with Rick Zombel being there?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I think for sure. Just they're competitive. They play hard. They manage the puck well. They got some guys that play with some snarl. They got some snarl. They have some big, strong guys, and I think you see some of those factors in Scott Sandlin's team, and I shouldn't think you'll see him in this team as well. I think just kind of the hardness and the competitiveness and the physicality are some foundations that they have in their game. And
why do you think so many of Gino's players have gone on to coaching? I mean, if you look at some of those rosters, it's pretty crazy to see the number of guys. Is there anything you can point to as why you think so many are?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would just mainly think I think it's just like a great teacher or whatever. It's just a person that has a huge impact on in your formative years, and you just have a lot of respect for his kind of passion and how driven he was at what he did, and how good he was at it. And I think it rubs off on you to kind of shape a bit of how you see things, and especially about the game. And I don't know, those are obviously a lot of really good traits he had to, so if his proteges or kids coming up underneath him kind of picked up on some of those, I think that's going to lend them well to learn and also hopefully excel in the coaching industry.
You had talked about obviously Jackson being a question mark for this week, but with Griffin being out there on Friday too, just maybe what was your response to when hearing that suspension, and who you're expecting to kind of fill his spot on Friday?
Yeah, Griffin is taking he's a real reliable guy for us in that fourth line. He just, he's got some good poise. He's not a real burner or super big or strong guy, but he's cerebral. He's smart. He knows the next play. He's reliable. So, we never take that for granted. To be able to, he's been kind of an anchor on that fourth line, and it's disappointing he's out. We were disappointed, but. Yeah, I know we have other guys that can do it. Ben Strinden can play center, and Costantini can play center. So we have some other guys that have the ability to step up and think can do that job.
Jax, you saw all three goaltenders play on Saturday. What did you see? What did you think?
Yeah. Well, I guess first thing when we talk about it, I thought, our Caleb, the biggest thing we want to take away from that is Caleb's play. He just we talked about it the other night, but such a great teammate and such a competitor. We've seen him really improve over the last year and a half. So to be able to get him in and see him play well, get the win, boys were really fired up. So we were real happy for him. But I thought Drew was real strong. Again, we've talked about that. Sometimes our goalies have gotten a bit of a bad rap where we say, they've only given up 9 shots or something, and 2 have gone in or something. But both those goals that we gave up to USA, where you could have been Vasilevsky and you're not stopping them. So, that's we always kind of look at the quality of the chance we give up versus what the goalie's doing. So I thought Drew was really solid. Right before he came out, he made a great save when it was 2-2 there, kind of a kick save, right? Kind of on rebound, made an excellent save there. And then Helly went in, did a good job. He was solid. We gave up a pretty good quality chance on that goal. I'm not going to fault him on that one. So we were overall happy with all of our guys.